Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV, the only place to be for the pre-match pump-ups, and our season-defining pump-up show starts tonight. Tottenham versus Bodo Glimt in the most important game of the season, without any shadow of a doubt. And I've got a great panel as always. I've got Jimbo on one side of me. I've got George from Durag Diaries down below me, and Jose should be on his way as well. Jimbo, how are you doing? How are you feeling tonight?
Yeah, confident. Very confident.
Good. You're always confident, though. George, how about yourself?
I'd love to say I'm always confident, but I think I've changed on that side of things, Kate. You know what? Today, home, I do have confidence today, but still, like, there's just that little voice in the back of my head saying it's Spurs. So I'm just reminding myself this time to not get my hopes up too much, because it's a European final ahead of us, and yeah, man, it presents a great opportunity, but also a great downfall. So
I'm seeing a lot of talk that Bergvall has come out, that Bergvall is out for the rest of the season. I'm just trying to find out where this has come from.
It's rumors. I've seen it's come out. I think the person that said Solanke was injured, it's one of those like ITKs, you know, they're not actually officials, but they heard from, they've got a mate at the club who's a friend of the medical staff, something like that he's picked up an injury and could be out. Well, so they say the rest of the season for the next month.
There's nothing on Sky.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything officially announced.
Oh, well, let's hope that that's a load of old nonsense, because that's one thing we don't want to hear right before this game. Jimbo. That Tottenham won away at Frankfurt. I didn't expect us to do it, but we played gritty. We put our backs to the wall. We had 5 defenders. We ran down the clock and we got the win. A lot of our wins this season have been like that. The win against Brentford and the Liverpool win. But tonight, I think it's going to be attack. What do you think? Do you think Postecoglou is going to stick to his philosophy and just go all out to get a good lead in the first leg?
Well, I don't know. Have we been attack, have we? I haven't really noticed that. Not for a long time.
I know. Well, that's the rumour.
No, they've got to be smart, ain't they? And make sure we just get a decent win and take it back to their place, and not be too gung ho. I mean, they've got I think 6 players out. They had 5 out. I think another one's I've heard has hurt his foot. He's in a boot or something. So they got like half their first team out. So if we play smart, we should get a 2 or 3 goal lead to take back to their place. You know, not go gung ho and give them goals and then make it hard for ourselves. Be smart.
Yeah, I will address this as soon as there's anything come through. Obviously, when the team news comes through shortly, it'll be easier to sort of look at. But at the minute, I can't find anything official. George, do you think he's going to go all out in his attacking style tonight? As Jim said, they've got 5. It's actually 5, as far as I can tell, key players out, including their captain. And obviously, it's going to be a completely different animal when we go to the Arctic Circle or play on an artificial pitch. So do you see Ange just going, right, it's who we are, mate. Let's just go out, attack, and get as many goals as we can?
Yeah, I would hope so. One thing for me that we noticed in a few games ago, it's probably the first time we saw it, is we saw Tell and Odegaard on either wings. If he's looking to attack, he needs to start with those attackers. If he puts Brennan Johnson off the right, and we know Sonny's not available, but if he plays Brennan Johnson off the right or Kulu off the right, then I know that that's not what he's looking for. Like you guys highlighted, they're missing a lot of players, and I know some of those players have been missed in the midfield. Patrick Berg, their main player, I think he's the captain. He's the holding midfielder. So if we're going to look to take advantage of anything, it's scoring goals tonight. So we need to play attack. I wouldn't be surprised if he does take that risk and play Kulu and Maddison in midfield together. It's something that we haven't seen for a long time. And as people are sort of alluding to, if Bergvall is going to be missing the game, I think this is probably be the chance to throw them in together and try and take the opportunity, because we already know I don't think any of the other midfielders are performing to a good level. I think Archie Gray's like, we need to wait till next season to see the best side of him. He hasn't really been used in the right position, and when he has been used in midfield, it's been in the wrong games. Sarr and Basuma have just been underwhelmed. And then I think we probably need to look at two of the players that are going to be attacking and going forward. So, yeah, attack is what I would expect from Ange tonight.
Yeah. Big up Jose. Nice of you to show up. Better late than never and all that. We was just saying, obviously, when we played against Frankfurt, we was quite defensive. Like, we got the goal, we went backs against the wall and tried to defend. But I'm expecting Ange to go all out to just score as many goals as possible tonight. And I was just asking everyone's opinion on what you thought.
Yeah, you want to kill the game tonight. You want to, if you can have one foot in that final, then today is when you want to do it. You don't want to be going and having to wrestle up in the return leg. You want to be doing the majority of your work tonight. I don't believe in all this stuff that, you've asked me questions in the past on it. What do I think of the other team and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about the other team. Yes, I've been told they've got players suspended, they've got players injured, but it's about what we do. We need to turn up. The news is floating around at the moment about Bergvall. If that's the case, then I think I've caught the tail end of your discussion. If that's the case, it's a risk. Well, is it risky that you play Kulu and Madders and Bentancur together in the midfield three? Or will he go for legs and put Sarr, Maddison and Bentancur in the middle and play Kulusevski out on the right-hand side and Tell on the left? I don't know. He's got permutations. One player drops out and he's then got, the one player, Bergvall's out tonight, like I say. To replace Bergvall, he's then got the conundrum. Do you put one player in Kulu into midfield or do you use Kulu out wide right? So it's a decision that he needs to make. But tonight, I mean, I was on a channel last night, a West Ham channel, and I went on and did a pre-match with them. And I said to them last night, they asked me, what do you think is going to happen Sunday? And I turned around and said, look, it all depends on what happens tomorrow night, tonight's game. I said that if Tottenham draw, win by 1 or win by 2 goals, he rests the whole 11 for the next tie next week. If Tottenham win by 3 goals or more tonight, then I think he does less rotation, just gives more players minutes off the bench, and he'll rotate that way instead. So a lot of what we're going to do in the future is all dependent on tonight for me, in my opinion.
Yeah. Look, if it is true, Jimbo, I mean, I did my predicted 11 and I had Bergvall starting for sure. But if he isn't, as George said, are we going to see Kulu and Madders together? Or do you think, like Jose said, he might go for the legs and put Sarr in there? We're not going to touch Basuma, let's be fair. I mean, he's pointless. But what do you see happening in the midfield if Bergvall is out?
I think we probably had our best games when Kulu and Madders have played together. They seem to, when they click, we do well. I mean, I think when Kulu's in there, Madders gets a bit more confidence. And let's face it, if Madders is on it and he plays well, we're not going to lose. When he plays really well, we always win. But it's if he'll play well. But he seemed on his interview, he seemed up for it. But I mean, we have seen that many times before, haven't we? And Jose's 100% right. We say it every time, Kate. It depends what Tottenham turns up. If the Tottenham turns up that wants to win and wants to give us fans a big smile, then I think that we will win comfortably. But how many times have we said that and they haven't turned up? So if they can't turn up for tonight, then I don't know what. I might as well just give up watching them.
Yeah, I mean, it seems we can't get a break at the minute. You know, we've got everyone back except Sonny, and now all of a sudden it's come out that, as George just said, he's not been pictured coming into the stadium or walking around the pitch. So that sounds like he isn't there.
Yeah, he's not been. I just looked sort of over the social media and stuff, and quite a lot of people have highlighted it. Chris Cowling, one of them as well. He's not been pictured on the pitch when the squad went and done the walk around. So I'd imagine he's not involved in the match day squad.
And coming into the stadium, all the videos that are coming out, he's not on any of them. But the rumour, and I don't want to cast aspersions, but the rumour is that him and Sonny are both out for the season. That's what the rumour is at the moment.
Yeah.
And dare I say it best not be a hamstring injury. It better not be a hamstring injury. If it's another hamstring, especially because Bergvall is one of the players that haven't really had too much rest. If it's another hamstring at this point of the season, it's just another slight on that Ange Postecoglou. Just another.
We'll end up finding out what's happened, but they're saying it's ankle, George, is what they're saying. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
it's not what you need. It's not the sort of news you want right before such an important game. That's for sure.
But what we got, Kate? Sorry, Kate. What we got? We've got what are we missing tonight? We're missing Sonny, Bergvall, Dragusin. Is that what we're missing tonight? Okay, so that's what we're missing tonight. The team we're playing against are missing not only injuries but suspensions as well. So we got to count our chickens that we've got a fair few, but we've only got 3 players out. We got to count our chickens, I think, tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Jay Murray actually highlighted this as well. Jules, they're coming from the Arctic Circle, and we're in the middle of a heat wave here in England at the minute. This is going to obviously be better for Spurs. Is it going to be? I mean, we know that Bodo Glimt have beat Lazio. They've beat Roma. They're not mugs by any stretch of the imagination. But surely this heat is going to play into our hands, do you think? Or do you think it's going to have no bearing whatsoever?
I don't think it have much bearing on the game, to be honest. I think obviously Bodo Glimt, they might prefer their conditions, but even I heard, because I think I was on a stream with Sav earlier, and he mentioned, that they play in minus degrees and these things, but obviously it's not that time in year, so they're not even gonna have minus degrees when we play over there. So I think that they'll be fine. They'll be fine coming over here playing in the conditions that we set. I think more than anything, we just need to make it an extremely uncomfortable atmosphere. Like that, I saw a video the other day of when Ajax came to Spurs. That's the atmosphere I want. I know we didn't win the game, but when they come out, I'm sure everyone saw the video. When I was getting goosebumps re-watching the video. I was like, this is what it feels like. This is when being a Spurs fan was something to be proud about, when we're doing big things and, everyone feels like we're going to win. It's not today where it's just disjointed and it's just like, yeah, we're playing today, but are we happy we're playing? For some, yeah, for some, no. And we just need that energy from the crowd. So if they can bring that, it makes it a bit uncomfortable for Bodo, especially because I don't think they haven't come to England before, I don't believe.
No, our stadium holds more than their whole town, which I think is hilarious. But Jose, what I was going to say was, obviously, without talking about that mob up the road, I think it's obvious that atmosphere is going to play a key part, because you saw when those mob up the road played PSG, they went 1-0 down, and the atmosphere, there was none. I'm not just saying that to be controversial. People were ringing up TalkSport saying it's the worst atmosphere they've ever heard at the empty crates. We've got to be the 12th man today. This crowd has really got to get behind the team.
So I heard what George said, and the game that George was referring to. I'll go one further, George, and I would say the atmosphere we need at the stadium tonight is a la when we played Arsenal when Conte was the governor, and we beat them 3-0, and they had to play something off. That was the atmosphere. That's the loudest I've ever heard Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Ever, White Hart Lane was raucous and loud all the time, but at the new stadium, you don't get often many nights when it is raucous and loud. That Arsenal, you could hear it everywhere. You could hear it in France. You could hear it in Germany. So from my TV screens here, it went across the English Channel, and they could hear all the Tottenham fans in bloody France. That was absolutely electric. We get that tonight. I don't know about intimidation, because we're saying intimidation, but Bodo have been in Europe for a number of years now, so they would have gone to different stadiums. So, but the thing is, they're really bad on the road. If you look at their form on the road, it really sucks. But tonight we need to play our part. We need to become the 12th man as well.
Oh,
but I would say we need to have the Arsenal type thing. What are you saying? Oh no.
The reason for my no is Basuma is in the squad. It's been confirmed. The lineup is out. We've got Vicario, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, and Udogi. Exactly what I thought. But then we've got Basuma. Obviously, it shows that these rumours about Bergvall are true. Bentancourt and Madders. And then we've got Johnson, Solanke, and Richarlison up front. Now, Jim, I would have played exactly what George said. I would have played Tell, Solanke, and Odegaard today, but he has gone with Johnson, Solanke, and Richie.
What is this?
What's your first thoughts on the lineup, Jimbo?
Is Bergvall's not a sub, I take it?
I didn't do the sub. did I?
Come on,
The
you wanna do it?
substitutes are Austin Whiteman, Spence Davis, Danso, Gray, Sarr, Kulu, Moore, Odegaard, Tell. No.
He's
So
out.
he's out. Look,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad front line, Kate. Solanke and Richarlison, he's been scoring goals, Richarlison. So with Solanke knocking it on and putting him through, we know what he like. He drops back Solanke to help the midfield out. I think that's it could work. I'm optimistic, Kate. I'm very optimistic.
You don't sound it, Jim.
Looks like
No,
he's
I
going to
am.
cry.
I am.
No, I generally am. Like, I'm looking at this lineup and I'm thinking to cancel my watch along. Like, I don't even know what the heck this is, bro. Like, what are we doing? Like, Ange, every time, and the thing that like gets me every time is he actually doesn't make sense. Like, sometimes managers do. Like, you said you were talking about Arsenal. I heard it. Yeah, when
Yeah.
Arsenal made some of the changes yesterday or 2 days ago, Arteta made sense with his changes. Actually, like, it adds up. It might not have been the right change, but it made sense. Playing Basuma, who hasn't had a good game in a Spurs shirt all season, makes absolutely no sense in the midfield. You're playing Richarlison and Johnson, two players that are allergic to playing with the ball at their feet. They literally can't. They're not good at running at players. Neither of them can put a ball into the box either. So you're playing both of those in our front line when we're supposed to break down a team that's probably going to go into a low block. And then, like, it's just questions all over. It's such a mess. I can't actually fathom what he thought putting this team together and why he thought this would be a good option. Unless his thing is we're going to make changes at halftime to see how, like, we're going to refresh and make 4 changes. I can't. This team, I don't think we're winning.
Kate,
I
read the subs again. Read the subs again.
The subs are Austin Whiteman, Spence Davis, Danso, Gray, Sarr, Kulu, Moore, Odegaard, and Tell.
So he could have Sarr in there instead of Basuma. But
I mean,
look,
for me, to play Basuma is absolute suicide.
how many times have I said to you, Kate, when you've asked me what team would I put out, and I say to you, I haven't got a clue with this guy what team he's going to put out, because you just never know, and he just throws things in there. But look, I'm going to have faith that he knows what he's doing, right? After all these losses, 19 losses, and it's such a big game. I've just got to have faith that this team's good enough to do it. But I'm quite excited to see Richie and Solanke together.
Jose,
I think that could work. I really think that could work.
Jose, how are you feeling about the lineup?
Do you know what? I'm not. The only person that worries me is Basuma, because Basuma hasn't played in a minute, and he's coming into the biggest game of the season, and he hasn't played in for a minute. He hasn't played. I can't remember the last time Basuma started for us. However, I'm not going to knock. He's put Richarlison in there. We've had all the people knocking Tell, knocking Odegaard, knocking this person, knocking that person. So why not give Richarlison a go? The one thing that I'm looking at, and I don't know how good Bodo Glimt are for set pieces, but I'm looking at it and I'm thinking Richarlison, Solanke, Bentancur, Romero, Van der Ven. Set pieces could play a part. They're 5 big lads. And we could, on set pieces, we might be able to get, one up on them, whether it's defensive, whether it's attacking. But Basuma, for me, he hasn't played. And for me, even Sarr's had more minutes than Basuma recently. I just can't remember the last time this started. So, but you know what? Mr. Postecoglou gets paid the big bucks. Not as big as other managers, but he gets paid big bucks to make these decisions. And I hope for our sake, his sake, the team's sake, that the decisions he's made tonight pay off and that we walk away with 1 foot into the
Can
final.
I ask you a better question? When was the last time Ange made a decision that paid off?
I think when we played Frankfurt in the 1-0 victory, people weren't calling for Tell to start that game. And I thought putting Tell into the side, I thought he made a good decision there, because the 2 wide players he picked that day went into a 4-5-1 and trapped back and helped the fullbacks. And I thought that was a wise decision, because everyone was knocking Tell at the time. I mean, as I said, I'm not going to say to you, George, it's a wise decision to have Basuma there, but I'm hoping for the money that he gets paid, he's made the right decision.
Well,
That's
when we played Everton, this had been
that was the best game of the season.
He'd been banned by the club because he was sucking on balloons, right? And he come in and he hadn't played for a while, and he was man of the match.
Second game of the season, he scored the first goal in our 4-0 victory. We were there, Jim. I was there with you, and he scored a worldie.
Talking about that game against one of the worst Everton teams that we've seen in a long while under Sean Dyche, and that was one of the only games that we'd won in that period. We just looked good that day.
We are talking. We're paying Bilbo Baggins, whatever they're called. So,
Everton are bad, George.
Put some respect on their name, Jimbo. They're not mugs, to be fair. They're definitely not mugs.
And this is the problem. I feel like as like I say like English fans, but I mean English Premier League fans, like we have this like entitlement that we think because we're playing a team in Europe that no one's heard of too much, we could just go and roll over these guys. And that's the problem with Spurs. How many times, Jimbo, you're older than me, so you have way more experience of this. But I know in my day, and from what I've seen in Europa League Spurs, what teams do we lose to? Dynamo Zagreb, FK Ghent, FC Basel. It's always these types of teams. It's always the teams that are in the smallest country in Europe. They've got a town of about 40,000 people, but somehow they've managed to crop a group of players together that can beat Spurs. And this is the problem, is we go into games like this. I think Andrew's overcomplicated it, overthinking it. You know, on the weekend, he's been dropping Romero van der Ven. Who, for one, who substitutes their centre-back pairing at 45 minutes? But who drops them then a game further onwards from that? So they're going to go into this game with no sharpness. They've not played together for a few weeks, no chemistry. It's just like so many. He's overcomplicated this. So now I think the decision is just going to be wrong. And he's probably going to look at the game in 65 minutes in, we're 0-0. He makes 3 subs, and then they may save the game for us. But this lineup doesn't fill me with any confidence, man. Like, there's just...
Can I just say, George is
semi-final. These guys are going to be up for it. Be confident. George is on my Christmas card. George is on my Christmas card list. I'm not knocking him at all because Jim, he didn't say I was older than him, so therefore George is on my Christmas card list.
I mean, the one thing George did say before anything happened with the team was he cannot start Johnson tonight. And Jose started Johnson tonight. Is this a mistake, do you think? Or, you know, we've got to give Johnson some flowers. He is our top goal scorer this season. What do you think?
Like I said, to me, right, for me, it's pretty attacking the lineup in the sense that he's got Richarlison, Solanke and Johnson there. You've got your top goal scorer. You've got an animal in Richarlison. Richarlison wants to be let loose, don't he? Richarlison hasn't played, and he wants to be let loose. So I'm not too disturbed by Richarlison playing tonight. He can, with this system that he's got here, you can change. It can change from a 4-3-3 and it can go to a 4-4-2. So Maddison sneaks out to the left. Johnson stays out on the right. Solanke and Richarlison go down the middle. So there's permutations there for me. If Ange decides to do that, there are different ways that you can play these players. For me, with Richarlison, Solanke and Johnson, what you do get is fluidity in the sense that Solanke doesn't have to stay down the middle. Richarlison doesn't have to stay down the left. They can interchange the positions. So the people that play 4-3-3 systems, and I'll go back to the Liverpool team that had Salah, Mane and Firmino, all 3 of them interchanged all the time. Do you know what I mean? And that's why they were such a potent front 3, because they all interchanged. Not one stayed on the left and one stayed on the right and one went down the middle. So for me, I'm quite happy that the 3 forwards that we've got there, if we're going to play a 3, I'm happy that they can interchange, you know. And at the end of the day, I don't know what these guys are doing on the training pitch, but whatever Ange has seen on the training pitch, he fancies this team that he's put out. I think the Basuma one, I don't know, because with yesterday he did the presser for tonight's game, and when he did the presser, everyone was fit. There was only 2 players out, he said yesterday. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure when unless he kept his mouth shut about it. I'm not too sure when Thingy got injured.
Sky Sports are saying that he's been left out because he played 90 minutes at Anfield. Now, whether they're saying that because they don't want him to come out at such a crucial stage of the season, but I mean, you don't leave Bergvall out unless he's injured, do you? Let's be fair, he's been magnificent for us.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that it is going to come out that he has picked up an injury of some sort.
When did he sign his new contract? Yesterday or the day before?
Day before, wasn't it?
Okay, so he was fine the day before when he signed his contract. Walked in all right, everything was fine. Yesterday, Ange does the presser at lunchtime. Unless they had a training session yesterday afternoon, which seems kind of mad if we've got a game tonight. I would have thought the training session would have been in the morning, if anything. But he's come out at lunchtime and said that everyone was fine.
Maybe he changed his mind on the contract, ran, and then fell over and twisted his ankle trying to run away from Spurs. Maybe that's what it was. But
Is
Jimbo,
this one of your conspiracy theories?
It's one of my theories. Jimbo, a few people are questioning the fact that Udogie started, but me and you were only saying the other day, the last few games he's played, he's looked really solid. And the thing with starting Udogie and Porro, is that if either one of those get injured or get tired, Spence can cover either position. Well, I mean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Udogie's done really well in Europe. He's showed up in Europe. So I would 100% add him in. Look, I can see people moaning about Biss, right? When Biss is on it, he's a good player. So let's hope that he's going to be on it tonight. He can make a difference if he's on it, right? He's a very good player when he's playing well, and I think he's lacked a lot of confidence. So let's get behind him. This is a team. This is a team that could go out there and really do well.
Well, yeah, they could, but they could also go out and be an absolute disaster. But that's just football. But I would have preferred to see all out attacking and add Basuma out and Kulu in and just really go for it, because I do worry the creativity. I mean, Jules, where's the creativity coming from? We relying on Madders and Madders only? What do you think?
For me, yeah, relying on Madders. I think with Basuma there, it does allow Bentancur a bit more freedom to roam forward. And I do like when he's not really held to that 6 role. When you give him a bit of license to drive with the ball, play forward, he does actually tend to be more involved and play better himself. Like you guys said, I think Udogie is a good player to have in the team. And as of recently, he's looked a lot better than he did at the start of the year. And having Spence off the bench is even better, because like I said, if Porro's having a bad game, Udogie's having a bad game, he slides in and slots into either positions easily. But yeah, I think for the creativity, you got to lean on Maddison here. There's been a lot of PR for Maddison this week. I know we saw him all over that little clip, that thing that they released this morning, and then he was doing the interviews all the days prior to it. One inside the press conference room, one outside in the sunlight. They're just lapping it up as much as it is. So all this talk, I need to see him show up. I need to see Maddison have a good game. Now, he did have a decent game in the Frankfurt both legs. They were like half decent. But for me, I think the problem for Madders is, and I looked at the numbers just to compare it to, like, he's not creating nearly as many chances as he was last year. Last year, he was creating way more chances for us. And even then, he disappeared for at least the last 4 or 5 months. At this season, he's just not the chance creator that he was before. He's not the guy that's just constantly playing the ball through the lines. He seems to shy away from the responsibility to take that on. He's very similar to Odegaard. Him and Odegaard are having very similar moments right now with the way that they're just falling away, and that creative role that they've been known for, they're just not being able to do it. And although Madders has picked up goals and assists, when you actually watch his all-round game, he's nowhere near as creative as before. So I'd be leaning on Madders to do that this game, because there's no one else. Everyone in that front line, neither of them are good with the ball at their feet. Johnson doesn't like the ball to feet. It has to be played in front of him. Solanke, you need to either give it to him in the air because he'll touch it down and turn, but he doesn't really like playing in ball at feet, running at man. And Richarlison, again, he has to be played in behind. So that's the problem. When you have a team that's going to play a low block, which is likely because they're away from home, and they get low, you don't get much space in behind. So I'm struggling to see how this front line creates. But as Jose said, Richarlison's chaotic. Like, the one thing I always give to Richarlison is he doesn't know what he's going to do, so you don't know what he's going to do. So you just got to leave him to just sort of play his game, and somehow, some way, he ends up with a goal. But as we saw in the last game against, I think it was Forest when he scored, he misses the easier chances and scores the harder ones. So it's always up in the air with him.
I mean,
they must be really struggling for players. They've only got 8 subs out, haven't they?
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
I was going to say something now, Jimbo, and you've made me forget exactly what it was. And it was something about... Oh, I was going to say, with Bentancur and Biss playing alongside Madders, Jose, do you think they're going to give him the space? Because we all know Madders likes to have a bit more space to make things happen. I mean, I'm really baffled by the Basuma thing, so I'm struggling to see how I see this going. But I mean, what do you think? talking about matters.
Two ways. There's two ways of looking at this for me. Is if either we're playing with a double pivot, so Bissouma and Bentancur will be the double pivot, and Maddison can go wherever he likes, or if Bissouma's going to be the holding type 6. I don't like using the word 6, 8, and 10, but if he's going to be the holding type midfielder, then Bentancur will roam right of midfield, and I'm assuming that Maddison will roam left because that's what Maddison does all the time. If Maddison had a free roll on that pitch, you will see that more often than not, 99% of the time, Maddison floats left. Always has done. Doesn't go right. Always floats left. So for me, I don't think that having Bissouma and Bentancur will take away any space from Maddison because he always goes to the left. And so, as I said, if it's a double pivot, Maddison goes wherever he wants, but you'll find him on the left. And if Bissouma holds, Bentancur will go to the right. Maddison will still go to the left. So I don't see them stifling Maddison, if that makes any sense. Whichever formation we choose, I don't think they're going to stifle Maddison. Maddison's just like George said. Maddison for me, right? Madison's been better than Odegaard for me, and it's not because I'm a Tottenham supporter either. I just think Odegaard being the captain and all that, he's just fallen off a cliff completely. And I'm not an Arsenal fan, but the Arsenal fans will tell you the same. But with Maddison, on the eye, it looks a bit different to what his actual stats are. If you look at his stats, he ain't got bad stats. But the one thing I will say about Maddison is that if he does the same trick, the same drop of the shoulder, the same hip turn, he gets found out. And recently, in the last 3 or 4 games, I've seen Maddison lose the ball more than what I've seen him lose it all season, whereby people have worked out the drop of the hip, the dip of the shoulder that he's doing, and they're expecting it because these teams, they do dossiers on each other. They do dossiers on all the players, so they know exactly what the players play like and what they do. So you're just looking for Maddison not to be samey tonight and to do something slightly different because Bodo, whether we like it or not, I mean, I don't know how good Bodo are going to be tonight, but whether we like it or not, they would have done their homework on Tottenham Hotspur. So.
Yeah, well, it's not hard, really, is it, to know what's going to happen? But Jimbo, you're quite. Oh, the dog's agreeing with me. You're quite an advocate for Richarlison. He has scored a few goals, but what I particularly like about this guy, there's not a lot I like about him, but I do like his shithousery that he brings to the team. How do you feel about him being included? Do you think there's a chance he can get into their heads? What do you think?
Well, has he scored 4 in 5 or 3 in 4 in the last few games he's played? So he's putting the ball in the net. That's all you can ask. And Johnson, I think, deserves his place, being our top scorer. He's always seems to get in the right place at the right time. So, yeah, look, for me, Richarlison's the type of player that he will get stuck in and try and win the ball back. And he's got a lot of good attributes. He just hasn't. I think he's been a bit unlucky with injuries. He's not really ever had a run, has he?
No.
So, yeah. Look, I'm going to put my confidence in this team. This is a pump up, and I'm going to get pumped up. This is our biggest game we've had for a long, long time. So I'm going to get behind the boys and say we're going to smash them.
So that makes a change. George, are you any concerns with Vicario? He's looked a little bit shaky at times recently. Are you glad he's playing? I mean, is there any option to not play him? What's your thoughts?
No, do you know what? I'm actually a big fan of Vicario. I like his mentality. I know there's been a lot of clips throughout the season when he gets onto Bergvall. People are like, what's he doing? Why is he like he's doing? I like that type of stuff. Old school captain mentality. Especially when he's a more senior player, he should be getting onto the younger players, the 18, 19-year-olds, screaming at them, shouting at them, just letting them know that someone's going to hold them accountable on the pitch. He has looked a bit shaky in his past couple of performances, and it has worried me at times because I've always, when I've looked at Vicario, I'm just like, this is a long-term successor to Hugo. But these little moments have been like, we can't have those too often. You've got to be a bit more solid here. I think he's aware of the occasion. I think he knows that tonight he can't be too risky and he can't be doing too much. So I think he's going to be, he's going to be ready to step up and really make no mistakes today. He rarely does have a mistake, if we are being honest. It's only been in the odd few games recently where, and off the crosses, we already know he's not amazing at coming to collect crosses. But outside of that, I think Vicario should have a good game. I just don't need to see him. He's always, the problem for me is whenever he dinks it into the middle of the pitch, like to Bentancur, Madison, he's trying to do a bit just go long or just go easy. Stop, because you haven't got that in his game.
The thing is, George, right? Confidence breeds confidence, and when he's got people in front of him that are making mistakes, right, it seems to make him a bit nervous. But when games are tight, and like we was beating Frankfurt 1-0, he pulled off some great saves, right? Because he can see that the guys in front of him are doing well. It just confidence breeds confidence, you know. And I think if the back four or have a good game, I think he'll have a good game.
It makes me nervous when they tippy-tappy play from the back. I hate that. I don't like to see it at all.
Especially against Liverpool.
Oh, for God's sake. But, you know, we'll see. Jose, are you expecting a big performance? Romero's captain for us tonight. He's pulled his socks up a little bit, but then he has made some stupid comments recently as well. Bad timing, talking about leaving and God knows what else. But I can't criticise. He has played better. I mean, are you expecting a captain's performance from him tonight?
Regardless of what people think about Romero, whether he's staying, coming, going, whatever, Romero's a very good defender. Romero's a very good footballer. But like everybody, that you get better and better with confidence and with concentration. And you know, if he's not concentrating, we know that he makes a mistake here and there. But if he's on 100% concentration, then he's a very, very good defender to have. I think that as a fan base, we all feel much stronger seeing these back four that are playing tonight. So yeah, I'm looking for a performance from Romero van der Ven. I mean, I don't know what their striker is going to be like because their main man's out, suspended. So we won't know till the game starts because I don't know enough about Bodo Glimt to tell you. Their forward that they've got playing wants to come short for the ball. Their forward is pacey. Their forward wants it in the air. I don't know enough yet, but with the combination of attributes that Van der Ven and Romero have got, they should have enough to cover most footballers worldwide. So you've got speed, strength, thought, skill. There's power there. They've got everything. So we should be all right defensively, but it's a case of being on it 100%. Not letting the gremlins come into your head where you make the mistake, you know, and the mistake leads to something else. If he's on it and he's on it 100%, then he's an effective player. I would say that Romero tonight, what I'd watch for is Romero was doing it and has done it a few times this season. Now that we've got Richarlison and Solanke and Son playing, I would watch out for the ball from the back from Romero. I bet he tries the ball from the back over the top of their defenders for them to run on me. He will try that tonight, at least twice in the game tonight, I reckon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a good performance from him.
Yeah, me too. I think we need a good, strong leader's performance from him. No stupid, crazy tactics and bozo moments, please God. Jim, I think personally myself, we need to be taking a minimum of a 3-0 lead to them. I think playing on an artificial pitch in the middle of the Arctic Circle, it's going to be hostile. You know, these places are in Europe and they've got quite a good record. Do you think we need that sort of lead, and do you see us being able to get that sort of lead?
I think if we go there with 2 goals, I think there'll be enough. But I'm expecting more than that tonight. I think we go there with more than 2-goal lead.
You think 2 would be enough?
I think 2. If we go there with 2, I think it'd be enough. But I think we're going to go over 3 or 4-goal lead. I think we're going to kill it tonight.
George, do you agree? Do you think a 2-goal lead will be enough?
I think we need a 3-goal lead. I'll be honest, like Kate knows I've generally been such a positive fan the majority of the time, but at this point, Spurs has broken me. And I remember Zagreb like yesterday. 2-0 and it was 3-0 all of a sudden. So I'm only confident if we go into the second leg with a 3-goal lead. If we go into it with a 2-goal lead, I know that there's always a Spursy moment. Just, you know, where they get 1, they get 2. It's not hard. If you get 3, then you're like, all right, there's really not much that they can do here. We just need to stop them from scoring 3 or 4. So yeah, I'd say 3-0, 4-1, and that'd be a great game. But I would predict I do predict we're going to get 2. Love to see a 3, though.
And what about you, Jose? Do you think 2 or 3? What do you think we need?
I would say if you win by 3 goals, you've got 1 foot in the final. So for me, like I said earlier, a draw, a win by 1 or a win by 2, he rests the whole of the 11 that start tonight or whatever. He rests them all for Sunday. If we have a 3-goal lead, then I can see him playing more players just to keep them ticking over, and then changing them around at half time or after 60 minutes, blah blah blah, on Sunday against West Ham. So it's all pointing to what we do tonight as to what we do for the games going forward. I expect Tottenham, and this is me, I'm going to put myself out there because I am a positive fan still. I expect Tottenham to go out and put a positive performance. I think the crowd tonight, they will understand it. Tottenham fans will know. They'll understand it. This is the biggest game for us since the Champions League final. It is.
Wow.
It's the biggest game. It is. It's got to be, because
I thought you was going to say putting a performance like the Champions League semi-final. That's what I thought
it's the biggest. It's the biggest game since the Champions League final. So therefore, what we need to then do is we need to match that and realise that the fans know it, but the players need to know this, and the fans need to. Like I said, George talked about the Ajax, the support against Ajax. I talked about Arsenal when we did them 3-0 under Conte, and that's the kind of atmosphere we need. Give me the Arsenal atmosphere from the 3-0 victory, and you know what? I'll settle for a 3-0 victory tonight and the Arsenal crowd and a 3-0 victory. That's what I'd settle for, but my head says that we could possibly get more than a 3-0 victory tonight.
Big up to Derek Ballard, who's become a new member. Thank you very much indeed. Ronnie has said that Ange Postecoglou has said that Bergvall tweaked his ankle in training with no timeline on how long he will be out injured. Oh, it's all good news. What I will say is, come the West Ham game, I literally have no interest in any of our Premier League games. And I know that people will say that's terrible, but I really don't. For me, it's all about Europa. We cannot get relegated. So for me, it's just about getting to this bloody final, because, you know, we got a little smidgen of hope against Liverpool when we scored early. There was a tiny little 0.001% that thought, oh, we might just get something here before the wheels fell off. So I'm not really bothered about that. I just need to make sure that we get to the final. But it is coming to that time where I'm looking for score predictions. I've got quite a lot already. Potato Stew's come in and said 3-0 to Spurs. Gaza has come in. Oh, I'd love Gaza to be playing with a 4-0. Come on, you Spurs. Nathan says anything less than a 2-0 or 3-1 win is a loss for me. Jimmy saying 5-1 Spurs. Bobby Walters is saying 3-1 Spurs. Lots of 3-1s. Man United can beat them, then we can. 6-0 says Andrew. I don't know where the 6 goals are coming from, but I'll take it. 3-1 says Am. 3-0 says John Jones. Jules, I want to come to you first, as it's your debut on the pump up. Ask you what you think the score will be tonight and who will score for Spurs.
Gonna go 2-0. I think we win 2-0. I'd love to see 3, but I think we win 2-0. It's gonna be a game that's very slow. I don't think it's gonna be as entertaining and as attacking as many think. Goal scorers, I'm gonna go with. Let's go Richie. Richie does it with a passion for the badge. He gets 1 goal, and then I'm gonna go Tell off the bench.
Wow. See, I'm the opposite. I think this game's going to be really fast. I really do think it's going to be a fast-paced game. I hope it is as well. Lisa says 4-1 to Spurs. 4-0 says Christopher Inshaw. Let's be positive. Should be 4-0 at least, says Sirius. Marco says 3-0. Jess says 4-1. Come on, you Spurs. 4-1. Come on, says Captain Alex. 3-0 Spurs, says Quandwo. I hope I said that right. If not, I apologise. Jacob says 4-1. Dave says 3-1. I'm going to go next, and I'm going to say, even Bill said 4-1. Come on, Bill. I'm going to say, I think tonight is going to be a goal fest. regardless of fact, nevertheless, that we haven't scored 4 threes for that often. I'm going for a 4-2 win. I'm not sure whether 2 goals will be enough. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet just because we just don't do that very often. So I'm going for a 4-2, and I'm going for Solanke to get 1, Richie to get 1, Johnson to get 1, and Kulu to get 1 off the bench. That's what I'm going for. 5-1 Spurs says Nick. 6-3 says Yogi Bear. Currently Spurs says 3-1. 5-1 of Richie Brace. 3-1 says Travis. 1-1 says Crease. Oh dear. 3-1 says Jerry. 6-0 says Spurs GCTV. 4-2. We've got predictions here. 4-2, then 1-2, and we go through. That'd be nice. Jose, how are you feeling about tonight? What do you fancy the score will be, and who will be the goal scorers?
I don't normally like picking goal scorers. I'm ultra positive for tonight. I think we're going to get the recipe that is going to cook tonight. I think the fans are going to be behind the team because they realise this is the biggest game since the Champions League final. So my head's telling me 3-0, but I'm leaning towards maybe 5-0.
Goodness gracious me!
And for me, I really couldn't care if they were 5 own goals. I just want the win.
I swear to God, I knew that sentence was going to come out of your mouth. I wouldn't care if there was 5 own goals either. I'd take 5-0 however it comes.
Kate, you know me too well.
I know. Is there anyone you do fancy getting on the score sheet for sure?
Looking at the lineup that we got tonight, it would be good if the 3 forwards could share the goals. That would be good. And for going forward, it would do wonders for them. For going forward, into the next game and the game after that, the fact that they're scoring, they're on the score sheet and that. So it'd be wonderful if all 3 that start tonight up front. It'd be wonderful if they were in and amongst the goals, not assists, but actually in and amongst the goals. So I'd like to share them around in the team.
I actually think every one of the front 3 scores a goal tonight. Sunshine on Spurs says 4-1, but I do think it'll be quite a hard game overall, just some moments that come down to quality. I mean, it's quite tragic that we're sitting here playing the Bodo Glimt at home with their 5 key players out, and we're umming and ahhing about whether we can win. Yeah. That's how bad this season's been.
Yeah, I mean, Bill hit it on the head when he said that we ain't playing Real Madrid, we're playing Bodo Glimt with half their team out. I mean, come on, if we ain't confident with this, then
the respect for Bodo. The respect for Bodo is that at home they're a different beast. They're a different animal. People have suffered going to their ground, right? Not everyone, but they've got some good results at their ground. People have got to understand they haven't won every single home game forever and a day. They just recently got some good results at home. However, on the road, they are really, really poor on the road in Europe. Not in their league, because in their league they're right up there. They're first or second in the league, and they will continue to be so. But on the road, in Europe, they've been pretty poor. So there's no reason, and you're quite right, we're not turning around and we're not playing. But put it this way, I'm so happy we're not playing any of the 4 teams that I see playing the Champions League semi-finals, because we would get roasted. There's a complete drop-off in the teams that are now in the 4 semi-finalists in the Europa League compared to the 4 in the Champions League. But again, this ain't Real Madrid. You're not playing Barca. You're not playing Bayern. You're playing Bodo Glimt. And facts are that away from home, they haven't been good travellers. And we're at home tonight. Make the most of it.
Yeah, I agree. Jimbo, I'm going to obviously come to you and get your prediction of what you think the score will be and who will be the goal scorers.
4-0. I think we keep a clean sheet tonight. 4-0, and I'm going to go the front 4 are going to score 1 each. Richie, I think Madders will score first, Solanke and Johnson.
Lovely. That'd be nice. Look, we're getting a lot of positives in the chat. I'm reading them all. I think we would all adore a clean sheet, wouldn't we? And yes, of course, Jimbo's gone for a 4-0. We all know. Only 4, Jimbo. So you're letting people down. Even Jose went with 5, and you've gone 4. Jim, you're so negative. But look, they've got Barry and Iggy doing the watch along at 7:45. That starts. So make sure you're all there for that. We've got nearly 1,000 watching. I don't even think we've hit 200 likes, which is outrageous.
No, we haven't. I was literally looking at that. I put in chat like 200 likes isn't. It's not even hard. It's like a fifth of you.
I know it's outrageous. You know,
Smash.
I don't know what to do. I don't know
Come
what
on,
to
hit the
do.
like if you want Spurs to
Don't
win.
cost. If you want Spurs to win, you hit a like today. We need positive energy, positive likes. You know, let's get this up to 200 if you really want Spurs to win.
That's it.
Yeah,
Jules, it's been lovely having you on. I know you're doing a watch along soon. What's happening over at the Do Rag Diaries? Let us know.
Watch along 7:30. Be there, man. If you could pull up for that. If not, I'd probably have my match reaction out and then probably do a stream tomorrow sometime in the morning. Hopefully not a fallout stream though. We're just celebrating. Hopefully it'll just be Spurs fans celebrating, talking about already, you know, booking flights to Bilbao and all of that. That's what I want to be doing. Look out for that. But thank you for having me on, and big up to everyone inside. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, it's been great having you on, Jules. Thanks for coming on. Jose, what's happening over at El Tel Cockerel?
Firstly, thank you for having me on again, Kate. It's been nice to be on with George and Jim as well. People, please.
I've just noticed you're the 3 J's. That's the first. JJJ and Kate. Sorry, I've just noticed.
KJJJ.
Go on, Jose. I'll shut up.
what I will say to the crowd that are watching, I don't know how many people are watching now, but you've gone past the 200 likes. But I'm going to go one further. It's not only if you want to win tonight, but if you want to get into the final, show your appreciation and hit likes for this stream. It helps out the lads because it's their channel, and they allow everyone to have a platform on their channels, and also for Kate for hosting as well. Let's hit the like button for Tottenham and for tonight. And I hope that every single one of you, wherever you are in the world, is happy and smiling after we've won tonight, and that we've got something to bloody look forward to for once in this season. Yeah. So let's positive vibes from everyone. Let's go out and do it. Me, what am I doing? I did a prediction show yesterday, and I'm doing part 2 tomorrow on my channel, and then I'll be on again on Sunday in the morning, and I will pop on if anything happens, and then I'll just pop up like everybody else, because otherwise you can get too much of everyone, can't you? So instead of just doing content for the sake of doing content, I'd just rather do it if something happens or I've got something to say. You know, I'd rather come on then. But if you do fancy giving me a watch or giving me a spin, then the channel link's there. Kate's got it on the screen.
Yeah, do make sure you go over to El Tel Cockerel and also to the Do Rag Diaries. I love
264. We're climbing. 264. We're climbing. Come on, let's get this going.
Yeah, too excited. I can't wait for the game. I love this club and I love you all. That sounds like the sort of thing I'd say when I've had a few too many vodkas. But big up to you.
Are we streaming in the morning, Kate?
I would think that if we get a win tonight, we might do a stream tomorrow. Yeah, over at Kate and Jimbo. Anything else going on over on the channel, Jimbo?
Educate me.
No, there's not really. I just wanted to see if you had any clue what was going on.
It was a trick question. Then I thought, she's told me something, and I ain't listened to her.
Look, if there's things to talk about, we're a bit like Jose at the minute. We don't want to stream for the sake of streaming. I don't want you to get sick of us saying the same thing. So we bring to you what we can. But obviously, it's a bank holiday weekend. The sun isn't actually meant to be shining, unfortunately, but it is a bank holiday. And if there's any news, we will come on. But we will be doing a stream probably midday tomorrow, talking about the game. Go on, Jim.
Because we are going to win, Kate, so we will do a stream.
Yes, and on Sunday we will be back here for the pre-match pump up for the West Ham game as well. But I think it is me. And yes, look, everyone enjoy the game. Stay positive. Manifest a win to the atmosphere. Just keep telling yourself we're going to win, and it will happen. Jim, go on, you can end the show.
And remember, we're not the scumbags down the road. We are the mighty Spurs. We don't bottle it. Our cannon don't drop. Our cockle stands high. Come on, you Spurs.